very good morning and welcome to the most awaited session, that is Corporate Think Tank. And we're sorry for the delay. The reason being is the new normal again. That is the technology that we are facing. There are some challenges and issues. So you can see only one person, that is me, and second is Tushar Maheshwari from Max Life Insurance, who has joined till now. But wait for other speakers to join in very soon. So this is a very unique session with the corporate buyers who matter most for this travel, MICE, and hospitality industry. These are the decision makers and the buyers of our product and services. So let me announce and welcome Mr. Tushar Maheshwari, AVP and Head Events for Max Life Insurance. Thank you, Tushar, for joining us today. Over to you
Thank you,
for.
sir. Thank you. Thanks, Chen.
All right. So, my first question to you would be, where we have entered into this new normal. Before February, everybody was traveling. The corporates were planning their projects, be it meeting, incentive, conference, or events. Everything was in shape, and then this news came. This new pandemic, which has made our life on a standstill. So everybody is locked inside their houses and just interacting virtually. So, what is your first feeling on this new normal of world? Over to you, Tushar.
Well, nothing. Well, thanks, Ajin, for this opportunity. And new normal is we're still adjusting to it, I believe. And this is a new situation when everyone has redefining the whole style of doing MICE events. The world will be different when we move into the next 2021 and now, and all the planning, the way we used to do events, the way we used to design our contest and our engagement terms, our planning, everything has changed now. As you just said that now technology is going to play a major important role in all this. And we have moved to online events, by the way. I don't know, but yet to share devise a share market, market share after this, that how much online events would contribute in the 2021 and the MICE events as such.
Sure, thanks, Tushar. So, first, I would like to take your views on the inside story. So, what is cooking inside corporate houses as far as this travel and MICE industry is concerned?
Well, right now, first most is we are closely watching the whole update, and because in the MICE, are 90% these such programs used to happen out of India, and we're closely monitoring because what we believe that, of course, the safety is the topmost priority for us, any corporate, I believe, for that matter. So until the coronavirus is completely, the threat is completely been wiped out, uh, it is difficult to say that anyone would begin to do MICE, and even after the government gives a go ahead, because we came to know that Dubai is going to start MICE from 1st of October officially, and it was already started as in one of the first countries to begin, I believe so. But again, difficult that until unless the threat of corona is totally wiped out, any corporate would take a step forward.
Sure. Thanks for your views. I think now I can welcome Mrityunjay over here. So, welcoming Mr. Mrityunjay C. Mohan, Global Travel Manager, Adobe. So, glad to have you on board, sir. And a bit delay. Yes, I can understand this new normal of technology. So, over to you for the opening remarks. So, you can unmute yourself and then you can start. Yeah.
Yes, so good morning to you, Sachin and Tushar. I'm so sorry I was a bit late because of this technology. Anyway, finally I'm here. So thank you so much for inviting me. Of course, this is a tough time for the travel industry, especially the business travel and MICE both. There's some latest development which we have noticed here is like domestic travel is more or less started happening. And does it mean a kind of indication that today uh, we are moving towards becoming normal? Probably from a corporate point of view, I would say no, it's not the right time, and most of the people are definitely traveling domestic, but it's not primarily the business travel. It's basically most of the time the leisure traveler or maybe some personal emergencies kind of thing. The biggest concern for corporates right now is to how to reopen their offices, how to build that trust, and how to manage and like um, do the proper check for hygiene and all, so that uh, ultimately it's not corporate who is responsible for any kind of health related issue or any kind of infection happening to their employees. And that is basically holding it back to the corporates to take the final decision when they have to lift the travel ban. And ideally, like nobody is very clear that what is the ideal situation to go ahead and open the lift the travel ban. If you notice at a aviation system also, most of flight which is being operated are operated under Vande Bharat mission, or we call it air bubble. So which means it's a bilateral agreement between these countries, and mostly um, this is being done because of the personal well-being, keeping personal well-being in mind. So if somebody has sick, somebody has to go back to meet their near and dears, and this is the prime reason. Of course, there are certain people who are traveling for the business purposes also, but primarily the idea is to bring people back from the respective countries where they are stuck, and it's a mutual between these two countries. So I would rather say that it's not an ideal situation as of now for the business travel or any kind of MICE related activities, unless we have some sort of commitment coming from the health department or health industry that okay, this vaccine is available and this is really effective. Before that, I don't think so. We are moving towards normalcy. It's going to remain like this. For an example, if you compare within India also, you'll find like every state has their own set of restrictions, and it's really difficult to keep in mind all the restrictions. If you're traveling to Mumbai, you have to follow this. You're traveling to Chennai, Bangalore, Delhi, and all. So this is a bit very kind of confusing state, and the prime um, customer or the traveler is basically the leisure traveler, or I would say the traveler who has to travel is traveling. We cannot see like business travel on the go or on the road as of now. So that's the whole overall scenario. We are still in the phase of uncertainty. We are definitely doing the review on a periodic basis, after every fortnight, we revisit the situation, not only in India, outside India as well. We evaluate the situation, but yeah, more or less situation remains the same, and it won't give us a confidence as of now to go ahead and start lifting the ban, which is right now there till maybe end of the year. So that's the situation, Sachin.
Sure. Thank you, Mrityunjay. Yeah, this is for sure that the uncertainty is there, which is in the market as far as the traveler mind is concerned. So allow me to go bit back, maybe in the months of January and February, as everybody knows that corporate have their the MICE projects in place. So you must have planned something in maybe December and January for travel in April, May, June. Maybe your previous MICE projects as far as maybe meeting incentive or conventions or maybe any events. So what's the update for them? Have you converted them into virtual events or just postponed, or what's the reason there? So over to you, Tushar, for your take on this.
Well, Sachin, yes, you're absolutely right. There were events planned and a couple of such engagement and interactive things were planned. But then we have, moved online in most of the cases, and some such projects are still pending. But the idea is to again do this fulfillments, online.
Sure. Thanks, Tushar. And how about Nitinjay? Did you have anything planned as far as the group travel or group conference is concerned, or any
Yeah,
other
so it
updates?
was, yeah, it was we do have one of our biggest event happens like once in 2 years, and that was due um, next January, February. So this is something which is one of the like largest event which we do. Unfortunately, we have to cancel that event. Um, and there are some other events which we do in this part of the region. Like we do some events in Asia Pacific, let's say Sydney, um, UK, India. Then we do some global events, which usually happens in Bay Area because it has a larger impact and all. Unfortunately, we have to cancel all those events. Some of the events which which was possible to move on to the digital platform, we have definitely done that. Our internal events has very effectively moved to the digital platform. However, when you have a client-facing kind of thing, um, there was a mixed reaction. And I was talking to some other travel managers in general, and then just wanted to gain some my knowledge that okay, what they are feeling about this digital platform. So it's a nice platform, of course, but it's a workaround only. There is no any substitute of having a real conference in a face-to-face kind of situation on a instead of virtual. Virtual, we definitely go ahead and doing it. Most of the corporate has moved to the virtual platform. We are also one of the company who are in like digital media and digital marketing space, and we have gained a lot because of this pandemic. But having said that, there is no any comparison between a virtual event and the real event. Some of the event we cancelled and we haven't moved on to the virtual platform because we truly believe that we cannot create the same level of experience. However, there are certain internal events which has definitely been shifted to the digital platform, and it was a success as well. So there's a mixed reaction, I would say, from our end.
Sure. Thank you, sir, for updating. Yes, virtual is here to stay for some time, but cannot be a pure replacement of face-to-face events which we used to have earlier. So one day we have to go back to those face-to-face meetings to get the real experience. So that was something in the past. Now, zooming into the future. So, what are your plans for the upcoming projects? Maybe 1 year down the line. Do you have any fixed plans, or how you are working out on your planning? Over to you, Tushar.
Well, yes, Sachin, very good question. Every day, we also are putting this question to our partners, and we're closely monitoring the markets right now. We're getting regular feedback from a lot of travel partners with whom we work throughout the year. And it's not very certain. It's not very much decided that exactly when are we going to plan and launch. But certainly, we look forward to resume these things ASAP. As Mrityunjay rightly said, that no one can steal the main, the fun out of it when you're actually meeting people live, doing, live physical events. Same is here. So, but we still see that at least like next financial year, which is April 21. Nothing before that quite seems possible right now, looking at the current conditions. But here's the way things are changing. We are open for things. Over to
Sure,
you,
sure.
Sachin.
Thanks, Tushar. So all is dependent on the medicine and the cure is invented, and I think then only the confidence will be rebuilt. Yeah. So, what is your take on this, Mrityunjay? Any plans for?
Yeah, I would say there are certain other factors which is going to involve here. Like this pandemic was slightly, I would not slightly. It's like we have seen in the past, like September 11 has happened. There was Ebola. There was some other such pandemic has happened in the past. And but it never lasted for such long period. So what is going to change after this corona is because maybe it's almost 6 months, I would say, since we have seen the impact. Maybe some of the corporate have started canceling their events in the month of last week of February itself. um, those companies who were like has a close association with China was the first one to get impacted, and they started canceling the events in last week of February itself. But by large, most of the company have cancelled their future events at least till 2020. By I would say end of the March, almost everybody has taken the call to cancel such events. Very few corporates might have waited till April to do the same. But more or less, it was by end of March, it was very, very clear that the event is not going to happen till 2020. Later on, and everybody was anticipating that this is not going to last so long. Initially, if you remember, when we gathered together, maybe 2 months, 2.5 months back, our assumption was that okay, by end of the year, there will be certain level of normalcy which is expected to come. which has now moved on to 6 months later. Tushar was just mentioning that, okay, he is hoping around April, May timeline, 2021 timeline for a kind of normalcy to begin. I would say this is a crucial thing for the industry, because longer that the uh, roadblock, or longer the um, uh, travel is not becoming normal, it's going to have a larger impact. Because what is going to happen is, not every organization or every company is as lucky like the IT companies or the digital platform companies. Of course, it is having some sort of impact on those companies. There are a lot of companies who are laying off, they are following their employees. So it's a crisis situation, which means like, even if the situation becoming normal, maybe March to 2021 onwards, uh, getting the same level of attention or getting a same level of business is definitely not possible for at least 6 to 9 months. So, in my opinion, of course, there would be some activity happening in the market in a MICE area, but it's not going to somewhere close to 2019 kind of figure until we have 2022 coming picture. Because first of all, the vaccines are not available. That vaccine has to be out in the market, that has to be effective. For a country like India, where is a population of 130 crores, like 130 crore individuals, so getting the vaccine to that level, so it's like that confidence, bringing back the confidence. And mice is something which is like where we talk about a bunch of people, right? 200 people, 500 people, 1,000 people. So this is something which is definitely directly related with the safety, and how the vaccines react, how efficient, how effective those vaccines are. So, and then the financial health of the organization. So, a couple of other aspects will also guide um, on the future of mice. There are certain companies who might continue to use the digital platform for a bit longer period of time, but those companies who are really doing good, those who have not been impacted, and we are also one of them. So we don't hope that, okay, it's going to be it's a gradual process. For us, it's like switch on and switch off kind of thing. The moment we realize that corona is no more a health hazard or health concern, I think we will become normal very, very soon. So, but again, is it going to happen with every kind of industry, all the kind of company? I doubt. So those who are performing well, those who are, their revenue is intact, or maybe revenue has grown, chances of reviving is very, very high. But percentage, like the larger percentage of corporates, their revenue has been impacted. So MICE return to the level of 2019 seems difficult, or not possible in 2021. We have to wait till 2022, probably, to get back to the level of 2019. That's my take on this.
Sure, sure. Thanks, Mr. So I think everybody has to write off 2020 as soon as possible. So, in our industry, people have started it reverse counting. So they are posting messages like, 135, 140 days left for 2020. So that is quite true. Everybody wants to get rid of this year as soon as possible. So coming on to next, if we are planning something, maybe, post corona period, if you're planning any mice project or any kind of travel, so everyone must be having some kind of expectations from the supply chain, because in supply chain this would include your travel companies, this would include your airline partners, airlines, and even the local ground arrangement companies, or even the destinations, which include your tourism boards and everything. So from a corporate point of view, what would be the basic expectations, for a safer travel, for a hassle-free travel that you would expect at least from them. So over to you, Tushar, for your initial comments on this.
Well, Sachin, this process has already been started. In fact, that whenever the strategizing the whole thing, whenever we resume the basically unlocked down version for tourism industry, And whenever we plan MICE, we expect from the travel partners to come up with the whole strategy. In fact, recently Dubai has shared a brief document which clearly states the documentation, which clearly states all the guidelines and SOPs. Even recently, EMA also shared EMA, the organizing events, safe events guidelines with everyone in the industry. Well, again, having said that, we can be just ready today whenever we begin. But when we actually begin to organize events, I look forward to, from all the support from the travel partners, hotels, airlines, the tourism boards in case of international events, to really come up with all the best efforts possible, genuinely to really protect people first hand. First of all, that's the first most criteria that we're looking at. We might start with little hybrid events. That is another option where the number of people are less, and then you still broadcast, which will be mix of real events and the online version of it. But when we actually begin to travel and actually plan events, that is internationally or being domestic, these guidelines are going to play a very important role. And again, the very first set impact after doing such events, studying those, those things, learnings actually from those events, aftermath of it, maybe how many people really successfully did that, and no corona thing, zero error, 0% corona threat in that. And maybe then we come up with the second lunch, and then we begin. So it will take time. These things will take time. A lot of improvisation, a lot of learnings would be required time to time. That, and again, those learnings should be shared at such platforms. I hope to see you organizing more such platforms where we can share those learnings, and I will wait for those days as well. Some reports should be published by the, I think, associations on this, and that's how the common learning can only take the travel industry out of this whole thing.
Sure, sure. Thanks, Tushar. So I think that is a very valid point that, we need to create a platform where, everybody can come and share their experiences, or maybe, we can get some kind of suggestions going forward, irrespective of the people who are into this industry, or maybe the people from supply chain. Yeah, agree to that. So moving on to Mrityunjay for his valuable comments on the same.
Yeah, thanks, Sachin. So, how I take it is like there is a lot of change which is going to happen in the whole ecosystem, how you procure stuff. And we have already started working on that. So, hotel RFP is round the clock. There are certain things which is certainly going to change. Your travel policy is going to change. The hygiene aspect is going to come in between. The approval mechanism, considering the hygiene aspect, is going to be included in the travel policies. In general, even if there is no any approval mechanism, but considering hygiene in mind, you might involve internally some different teams like safety and security, or maybe some other team who is responsible for this. So this is something which is expected to happen post Corona. The SOPs of the suppliers have also changed already. Like all the hotels, all the big brand of hotels, if you go and you'll find they will provide you the SOP list that what they are doing for the safety and for the employee and for their employee as well as the guest. So as a corporate, it will be a lot of study which is going to happen while selecting the supplier, while selecting the destination. We will be very mindful of like selecting the destination, because it has to be like easily approachable. We are not going to go too far. The destination seems to be safe. The local process and policy should be very, very friendly and not a threat for any kind of health hazard or infection. So many factors will decide. Apart from this, we are also going to review the supplier, how they are managing, what kind of safety measures or hygiene measures they are following. So it's an additional layer which is definitely going to be added at every step, whether selecting a supplier. We might see some decrease in terms of like participants. So if one event we used to do has to have like 300 people earlier, we might see that okay, that event now will happen with less number of people. So there would be some sort of scrutiny which is going to definitely happen at every level. So situation is not going to be the same. it's like the whole ecosystem is going to change. Instead of discussing the rate, you will also discuss that how you're going to maintain the social distancing, or how you are going to minimize the impact of any sort of infection during those activities. So you'll see a lot of change which is going to happen. Some of them have already started. If you go to any airline website, they will be candid enough to share that okay, what they are doing, and they feel good to, and that is the way to win the confidence, right? Like recently, I have traveled domestically in India, and I do realize that of course there was a lot of thing which was done by the service providers. For an example, I have a lot of my friends in airline industry, and I was talking to one of the airlines. I will not name it, and I just said that okay, yeah, it seems like you have done a good job in terms of getting people the confidence to travel with them. And the reply was yes, but it has costed us very very dearly, because he quoted a simple example. Earlier, our flight. So if you are traveling, let's say Delhi to Mumbai, and the flight has to go from Mumbai to Chennai, so it used to take around 18 to 20 minutes to prepare that flight earlier. But now, as per the protocol and the safety and hygiene guideline, it is taking them 42 minutes. So and the effort has gone up, the timing has gone up. So it has a impact on their complete timeline. The cost has gone up. So to maintain this kind of hygiene, you cannot compromise, you have to have that. So that is not visible to a layman, that what is happening from the background, what these suppliers are doing to maintain uh, this kind of hygiene. Is it going to increase some sort of price as well? So you will see a lot of these suppliers uh, ultimately going to increase the price to manage these kind of changes. So a lot of things are going to change. It's no more going to be the same old world. It's going to be definitely changed world. But the sentiments are good. I would say people are more confident now, and gradually that is the requirement of this industry. If that is not going to happen sometime very soon, it's really it's already has impacted a lot. A lot of people have already lost their jobs. A lot of companies have already in the stage of bankruptcy. Not only in India, I'm talking about worldwide. Um, so it's better that sooner the better, I would say. But gradually we are moving there.
Sure, sure. Thanks, Mridunjay. From your discussion and views, I just picked up one point, which is, seems important that, you said about this extra fees or extra costs which will be implicated. So you can take an example of small companies, these online companies that Milk Basket, or, they have started some hygiene fee while delivering their products and services. So maybe 10 rupees or 15 rupees extra, which is for the safety of the products they are delivering. So I'm sure going forward, the hotels who have to, spend more on these safety standards, or maybe on, to make it more safer for their guests to stay in the hotel. So same way, airlines is also spending some more money. So my simple question is, corporate would be able to accommodate such kind of expenses, which will be overshooting their budget for sure. I'm sure. Over to you, Tushar.
Well, Sachin, whatever it takes to protect people, I mean, that is the first most priority. Of course, everything, I mean, if this comes at a cost, and whatever the best possible scenario, the decisions would be taken accordingly. But my thing is that the safety is the first most, and we would, when selecting any partner or any designing an event, we would keep those priorities the topmost, even if it costs us. We might, try to fit in the budget. With, I'm sure travel partners would help us. They will come up with good ideas. We always negotiate. You know, all the corporates they negotiate hard, but something which where we are not going to compromise is the safety protocols. That is for sure.
Sure, sure. Thanks, Tushar. So what's your take, Mrityunjay? I know you have
I
already
would,
spoken, but still, yeah.
yeah, I would say we have to accept, and we should accept, because we this is such a crucial thing. And on one hand, if we expect everything as per our expectation, but on the other hand, if we are not willing to pay, it's not going to happen. um, Supplier is not going to take that extra burden in this kind of situation, because we are in a business revival mode. And in this kind of mode, suppliers are really struggling to get the business. And They cannot do it with this additional burden on them. So of course corporate has to come up and like support them to get the excellent support in future. We have to be part of that journey where we appreciate the kind of effort they are putting on the safety and hygiene of our employee. And Yeah, but again, what my expectation from the supplier would be that it should not be exorbitant. It should not be one of the tool to make some additional money. So profit should not be kept in mind while quoting or adding these kind of additional fee. Whatever is your genuine cost or whatever is your extra expense happening to maintain that hygiene, be transparent and quote it that okay, this is what we feel that since we have to do a lot of stuff, and this is our genuine cost which we are adding. So it should not be like an additional burden on it should be logical, it should be transparent. That is the expectation. And Of course it is going to be the USP of the supplier. So a lot of pressure will be on supplier to how they are going to market it, because if they are going to increase the price exorbitantly, their competitors might challenge it. So ultimately, it is again going to be a buyer's market. Suppliers will have a lot of pressure to put those additional hygiene related aspect, and there are a lot of buyers who might expect it on the same price. But my suggestion as an individual is to we should definitely support them. Otherwise, this is not already this industry is already bleeding, and any further burden on this industry is going to further impact the overall ecosystem. So ideally, corporate should support the reasonable price hike for any product which they are buying, whether it is airline, hotel, or any other stuff.
Sure. Thanks, Mrityunjay. Very well said. So, having said all these questions and getting your views on the same, still one question still remains unanswered. Maybe you have covered some, but still we would like to hear it again from you about the future plans. Like,
Mhm.
I'm not talking about 6 months or 1 year, but maybe 2 years down the line, so that we can get an idea, or maybe our viewers can get an idea that how are you planning to maybe start these travel and mice projects, maybe starting from domestic, or as everybody is saying that domestic worldwide in every country has to start in the first phase. So this is what everybody, and I think that holds good as well. So what are your plans going forward? Over to you, Tashar.
Well, Sachin, I think the answer to your question is the very first line where you begin with this, this conference, a new normal, because the world is going to be a new normal now, and a lot of new tactics and strategy has to be applied to, when we start organizing the events. And as I said earlier as well, that maybe we start with the hybrid events, maybe we start with domestic looks like wherever the currently, like today's India's condition is, I think, not very supportive to start such events as compared to any other country. Let's say the things and the numbers speak itself. So very early to comment on this, whether we begin with the domestic or international. uh, but again, very again, I would say that whenever we start, we'll of course study it very closely. We'll learn from the industry best practices. All the best strategies would be applied. The best vendor selection would be basis. I think would be done on the basis of the safety protocols and the experiences the guys can create, and whatever the guys have done, that the same trial partner, if they have done any past events or who have got shows the expertise. I think there's a lot of game changers would play role when we select any partner or when we design any such event in future, when we plan any such event. So very again, I would say nothing sure as of now, but look forward to really hope to begin all these events very soon.
Sure. Thanks, Tushar. I was just wanted to share my experience. I was talking to some people in the industry since last 2-3 weeks, so we're having a chat. So they quoted me that when they were talking to their clients for these virtual events or doing these events. So some of them have mentioned that their business partners, or the dealers or the employees, some of them are pushing them, to go for physical events, or maybe a small 1 day kind of excursion, that we want to go for that. So give us a short break, maybe a day picnic kind of stuff, but where we can, maybe 40, 50 people can come together and share some good moments. So maybe, so is this the case with you also? Are you getting some kind of request?
Well, definitely, initially when we talk to people and they thought that, okay, this corona is going to get over very soon, this COVID-19 situation. But look at now, we are in August and almost in September is about to begin. And we stopped, I think, in Feb. So that almost about a good 7 months. And we're still in lockdown, no travel. People, in fact, personally also not travel nowhere, not even different cities, or the whole season of this personal holidays also been wiped out. May, June. So I believe, yes, this is what they need, a good holiday, as well as officially also we need to begin sometime. A lot of people discuss, but again, when it comes to the safety point, as I said, topmost priority right now is on the safety. So we have to take this hard decisions as well. But let's see, we can't succumb to the pressures of the people.
Yeah, I too agree to this fact that, yeah, there are requests. Maybe that's the kind of sentiments which are building up. So over to you, and over to Mrityunjay for his comments on the future of mice going forward. And I mean, do you also get such kind of requests from your business partners or things like that?
So the future of mice definitely looks great. I won't see a major challenge because if you go and learn from the past, there was a September 11 case, there was Ebola, and so many other pandemic happened in the past. The problem here right now is we don't have any resolution so far, and we are not able to control it. And such a kind of disease, which like the infection happens very fast, and it is a kind of the death toll has gone so up. Luckily, in India, it's not so like high, but if you compare to the other part of the world, it's really very high, and it has taken a lot of people's life. So it has created a larger impact in people's mind, and people are doing everything possible to avoid these infections. In fact, when I was traveling domestically, I do realized people are going to the extent of wearing a PPE kit during their travel. In fact, my next passenger who was sitting next to me was like in a full gear kind of thing. So it is definitely there in the mind of people, and everybody wants to avoid any such situation where he's exposed to the infection. But we won't realize the fact that the moment there is a resolution in place, the moment there is some vaccination in place and which is tried and tested and which gives a kind of very very positive result, situation is going to become very very normal very fast. It's not going to remain the same, and the moment it happens, as I said, two type of companies which will be there in the market. One, those who have some impact on the revenue, their process to revival will be a bit slow. But those companies who have not, there is no any dent in their revenue, their business has moreover grown up, they will return to normal very fast. And believe me, right now we are having so many such webinars and sessions. But later on, once the situation will become normal, very soon people are going to forget it. Very soon people are going to adapt the new normal. Rather, maybe I won't say that, okay, those hygiene aspects which we are talking about will no more be going to be there. It is definitely, I'm talking about like not immediate future. I'm going talking about like 2022 or 23. It is going to bounce back, and it has happened in with this industry so many times. There was multiple situations in last 100 years which has impacted the travel, but ultimately everybody has forget what happened in the past, and business has always come back with a like double force kind of thing. So I definitely foresee the very good future of the mice industry. There is no any such replacement. Whatever technological enhancement we do, we cannot create the same level of experience, which is like attending the event in person, or being there with your customer and having face-to-face meeting. There is no substitute for that. So keeping that in mind, I believe in future, uh, the moment situation becomes favorable, normalcy will be very, very fast. That's my take on this.
Sure, sure. Thanks, Mrityunjay. So with that, now I would request a key message for the industry from both of you, maybe one liner. If you have something to share to our industry, that would be great. And then we can sign off. And yeah, over to you, Tushar.
My message would be very simple, guys. I mean, we are there with you, and we also understand and feel the pain. I mean, it's been we have been like colleagues also, and we have to fight it together. And trust me, the corporate world will stand with you guys in all best possible scenarios here, and we will have good days coming up, and good eventful days upcoming.
Sure.
Thank you so much for having me today.
Thanks, Tushar. Over to you,
Thanks, Tushar
Mrityunjay.
and Sachin. So yes, my one-liner would be that yes, we are partner. We treat you as our strategic partner. So we are always there with you. In your good times, we were definitely together. In your bad times, we are there for you. So obviously, don't uh, have a transparent dialogue, have a full confidence to come back to us. Let's try and resolve this issue mutually and do the better things for this industry. So yes, you will have our complete support. That's how I take it, and maybe close.
Sure. Thanks, Tushar, and thanks, Mrityunjay, for joining us today. So before we sign off, I will just request you on the left-hand side, you can see the VIP area. So you can grab your room in the VIP section for some time, and maybe we have, our partners who are present here, so they can try to grab a quick meeting with you, just face to face. So please do that, and post that if you have time. Do visit our booth section where we have 25 plus exhibitors, so you can also have a chance to meet them virtually. So this is the new normal, and thanks for joining us at the Life Expo, and see you soon sometime face to face.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you.